beauty standards will always exist, but I don't think it is just physical beauty.
Good looks has nothing to do with acting, and that is something that just keeps playing in my head.
No matter what you do, what you say, how you look, people will say whatever. They will find something negative to say at the end of the day.
This is Nawaz Kochra joining you on Indian Express, and I am in conversation with the oh-so cool girl gang of Call Me Bae.
Oh, thank you.
Hello, how are you all?
Good. How are you?
Amazing, amazing. So, I want to begin asking you all, what was the vibe like on the set?
Way more energetic than this.
Electric. It was electrifying.
Yeah, just fun.
It was great, we were such good friends with. I'm sorry, it'll sound like we're being sarcastic, but we're really not.
Like, I'm actually missing the boys because they've been separated.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we had so
today.
much fun. Like, we just got a break in the middle where we saw them and we were like, what did they ask you? And then we were just like, it's so much fun. Like,
Yeah, everyone basically was very candid on the show. Like, we were all like talking about our lives very openly and sharing a lot with one another and making jokes and
Playing games.
And
say horror
It was-
stories.
Colin also told me that whenever it came to gossip, getting out gossip from him was something great that you did.
But it's very easy to get gossip out of Colin. I just want to say.
If you have to give me some tactics as a, because you play a journalist, I'm a
Oh my
journalist.
God.
Yeah, so I want to know what is your tactic.
I think to first, don't seem too eager.
Okay.
Don't seem like you want to like get the gossip out. Another thing is I feel like you should say something about yourself.
Okay.
So the other person feels like, oh, like, they're comfortable to trust me, so I can trust them.
How baat mein bhanda phoot jata hai.
No, so I'm saying like, I'll be like, listen, like, yesterday I had such a tough day, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll be like, oh, and I'll be like, then what happened with you? Then they'll tell me something, so just make the other person feel comfortable.
Also, the show in a way also highlights women empowerment to a great extent. It's a very base story is very empowering, to be honest. Today we are in a space where, women empowerment, the definition is changed, but, the current situation also that is going on, are women today really empowered? With all that is happening around us.
Crickets.
It's a tough. No,
It's a tough one because I don't think it's very grey. I don't think it's black or white that we're empowered or we're not empowered. There are so many situations where things have gotten better when it comes to, if we speak about our industry and the guidelines and the safety protocols that they put into place within the film industry, or the power of choice that women, female actors have now, or the sheer number of women on a set. You are sitting with 3 actresses, So in that way, there's a lot of progress, but then there's also the flip side where it seems almost regressive and that we're going backwards. So I don't think that you can put it into a black and white box.
And I feel like feminism as a movement will constantly keep evolving in different ways, because also it doesn't just include 2 genders, it includes the entire rainbow of genders that are there, right? So I feel like it's always going to be, so I don't think there's anything like, are they empowered and it's done. I feel like it's going to be a constant movement towards a more equal future.
There's always things that can be done better.
Yeah, there's space to grow,
Yeah.
Also, you play a journalist in the show. What were the nuances? How was the prep of being a journalist? What went with that?
So, I mean, if you see my character base, she just becomes a journalist and then she gets this really big case. So, she really doesn't go yet into the nuances. Something that's very important to her and that's something she doesn't understand why it's not happening is honesty. She's like, but why isn't just the truth coming out? Why is everything about sensationalism? So, I wasn't really able to dive deep into what goes into being a journalist because Bae was also only exploring it on a surface level. But yeah, maybe Lyra is a better person to answer.
No, I feel like since in Pataluk I also played a journalist, and she had more to do with journalism than I feel like Tamara does in this. I feel like Tamara's journey is very different, and so I feel like it. And I'm a huge fan of newsrooms, so whatever I needed to know about journalism for Call Me Bae, I knew already. And I think I just wanted to go and live Tamara and see what she experiences.
Today in the industry, when it comes to beauty standards, how much does good looks matter?
We're in a visual medium,
Exactly.
so I feel like
It's
the
true.
first thing, but I feel like beauty is, it's such a...
in the eyes of the beholder.
It's very subjective, you can't say that this is beautiful and this isn't. Like, for me, it's so much beyond just the way someone looks. It's about how they're able to affect me as a person. So I think beauty standards will always exist, but I don't think it is just physical beauty.
You know, there's this wonderful interview by Viola Davis, and she does this thing where she's just like, good looks has nothing to do with acting. Right. I'm going to say it again. Good looks has nothing to do with acting. And that is something that just keeps playing in my head when I get a little too caught up about, oh, am I looking okay? And am I, you know, because I feel like it takes me out of the character. Right. And I feel like the most incredible performances I've seen have been with people who are, you know, I feel like we're talking about very different, maybe we're talking about very different kinds of films, and right? I think so. Yeah, because if you watch like a court and you watch a Geetanjali Kulkarni, I don't think she's focused on whether her sari is properly pleated or not, because that's not the world that we're in. Now, if you're in a Rocky and Rani
or Bae
and Bae's scarf is not flying properly and her gloss is not glossing, then it's a problem, because I am coming to Bae to watch this, right? I want that world. I want it perfect.
We study the human experience, basically. Yes. Now there are different types of people.
Exactly.
It's a whole spectrum now. So for
and it's
a
different worlds completely.
She needs to look pretty. She needs to have her fashion on point. Right? It's grammars. It's different grammars.
And you know, this point had come up at the trailer launch also, where somebody asked Colin that how careful did he have to be in making sure that Bae does not come across as a bimbo or a bimbit for that matter. So, you know, as somebody who was also playing the part, how careful did you have to be to, you know, not come across that way with the performance or with the character for that matter?
I think the first step was for Colin and me to not think of Bae as that. You know, she's a real person and she has her vulnerabilities and her flaws and her reasons for being the way that she was. So I think Colin and me not judging her, and I think as an actor, me being fully convinced by what Bae is saying, even though it might seem ridiculous to everyone around, I couldn't make fun of her. I had to completely believe what she was saying. And I feel like, in general, even in real life, and then I think Bae probably in the show, on the surface looks like something else, but the more you get to know her and then the more you get to watch the show, I think automatically that perception will be shaken off.
Also, you know, from the trailer, what my perception was that Bae is somebody who's very unexposed to the, you know, outer world, like how brutal can the world be at times also. Am I correct with that assessment?
Yeah, she definitely lived a sheltered life.
Yeah.
But, you know, has there ever been a time where, you know, probably just because, you know, you come from a certain background, you are underestimated also? Has there ever been a case with you all in real life that way, that, you know, people have underestimated you despite, you know, seeing that you've been so talented, you've been doing so great for yourselves?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like at every stage, we're constantly, at least I'll speak for myself, but I feel like women in general are constantly like having to seek validation from people, and they have to sign off on their journeys and their achievements to be able to believe that they have reached somewhere. So I feel like for me as well, I've constantly struggled to tell people, people I look up to in the same field that, you know, like I'm someone who's worth it. So I feel like that'll continue until I'll just give that validation to myself when I don't need it from outside.
What about you, Ananya? Have you ever been underestimated by anybody?
I don't think the word is underestimated. I think there's obviously judgment and people say all kinds of things to all sorts of people, but I think I've realized over time to not really pay heed to that, because people, no matter what you do, what you say, how you look, people will say whatever. They will find something negative to say at the end of the day. So I think it's just about doing good work, like we're here for a reason, and I think focusing on that is more important than anything else.
What about you?
Yeah, no, I think it happens a lot because sometimes, because our characters have so many similarities, I don't know if you face this in your characters that you've played, it becomes like, oh, that's you only.
Yeah.
And then it's like, sir, कैमरा जब ऑन होता है, हमको जब किसी और के साथ करना होता है, same चीज़, बहुत अलग है. So it's like things like that, you know. People just say, "क्या, that's so just how she is everywhere, this, that." So there's too many things people have to say all the time. And earlier I was very, very sensitive to it in the beginning. And then with time I was like, oh no, this is a bad idea. I need to give myself that validation, and I need to only listen to the people who are important to me and who know the craft, who I look up to. Otherwise, no. But there's a lot of underestimation that will happen at every step of the way.
Yeah.
You have to silence it out.
Absolutely. Lastly, I want to know how is Colin when he's in work mode? किसी को डांट पड़ी, किसी को सेट पे डांट पड़ी?
डांट तो पड़ी. मुझे नहीं पड़ी.
नहीं, but yeah, he has
like
there are zones.
There are shades of Colin.
No, he is. I mean, I feel like this show needed a very light touch. So he was making sure because he had to set the tone for the set, right? So because the show is light, he kept a very light atmosphere around. But when someone wasn't like remembering their lines or like not doing their job, then he would be like, he would ask them to come into line, but not be like yelly or whatever. But just like be stern and ask them.
But he's
to do
very
their job.
cognizant of his.
He's
like,
very cognizant.
very particular, and he knows everything. Even if he's not like making this kind of face and being like this.
Yeah, he's very sensitive to the actor.
It looks very effortless, you know.
Yeah, because it's a tough ship to run because we're all different actors, different energies, all bringing our own fundas, and he kind of just had to like handle everyone.
Yeah.
Which is
He told me the toughest actor who gave him a really hard time on the set was the 2-year-old baby.
Yeah.
Oh, the baby babe.
Were you there that day?
No, we weren't. I've heard stories and he's quite traumatized by that.
Yeah, he told me he had to play Calm Down for 45 minutes the song.
Yeah, because it was the baby's favorite song.
Yes.
Yeah, and they only managed to get like 2 seconds of that shot.
But
after however many takes. She killed it.
Yeah, she killed it.
Yeah, I mean like her look only is too good.